Good morning. Welcome to Views from the Hudson Valley. We've got coffee and conversation going on this morning. It is Thursday, August 25th, 2022. It's a beautiful day here in the Hudson Valley. I apologize for the background. If you don't know, I'm a children's book author and I sometimes do Zooms to classrooms, to schools. So this is the background that I had set up for one of the Zooms that I had done. And I apologize without looking it up. I don't know how to remove it. So yes, I am outside, as I generally like to do these from outside various different places to give you a view of the Hudson Valley, literally. But yeah, I'm not in the jungle like you see behind me, so I apologize. I'll get that fixed for tomorrow. All righty. So hope everybody's doing well today. Hope it's as beautiful where you are in the world today. All right, again, it's August 25th, and we're going to get rolling here. I thank you for joining us today. All right, we're going to start off with some news that's actually from more like 2 days ago, and I neglected to cover it yesterday, and I think it's worthy enough of covering. Paul Pelosi's arrest video had come out yesterday, and if you had seen it, you can see that obviously he was completely incapacitated. He couldn't even stand without supporting himself on the police officer's car. Now there's reports that you might have heard that he had a minor in the car, and I have heard the same thing. I heard specifically as it was a 14-year-old. Don't know if that's true or not. I don't necessarily doubt it. If you know me, you know that my recent philosophy over the past few years has become that anything is possible until proven impossible. And this applies to that too. And history with the Pelosi's would tell us that things probably are not on the up and up here, and somebody's getting some favors. The fact that it took, what was it, half an hour before he can even perform the test, that the field test, and I think it was 2 hours they waited before giving him the blood alcohol test. Not cool. So if you haven't seen that video, go ahead and take a look at that. It's unsettling. Other news is the Uvalde victims from Texas. I saw yesterday that they're going to be suing the gun manufacturer and the Border Patrol. I don't know why they're not taking the suit right to the White House, to the president. Isn't he not responsible? Or our borders are Kamala Harris, isn't she responsible for illegals coming across the border and committing these crimes? So I'm not sure. And the gun manufacturing suing, that's just the play on your 2A rights repeated again. Also in the news yesterday was a story about, and I could not find any details about this. So if you know something about it, please feel free to share what you know. But I saw that Ashley Babbitt's mother was turned away from a Washington, D.C. courthouse for having a small photo of her deceased daughter on her shirt. My questions are, why was she turned away for having the photo on her shirt? What grievance could they have with that? Is it a legal grievance? I don't think so. What courthouse was she at? What's the right word? Division or what have you? Was she going to? So what's the purpose of her visit? Is it to file a civil lawsuit? I don't know. If you have information on that, please feel free to share that. So why was she turned away? Terrible. Yesterday also, I had seen, I don't know when it was leaked, but it was a WikiLeaks email leak. And The title was Obama, hold please. Obama run pedophile ring out of the White House. So that was the title of the post. And then specifically it said Julian Assange, sorry, neighbor was passing by. Julian Assange unveiled another bombshell on Sunday evening, alleging that WikiLeaks now has hard proof that former President Barack Hussein Obama operated and participated in a pedophile ring based in the White House. A leaked email released today read, quote, "A young boy, the age of 5, he will make the perfect catamite for the president. He will arrive from Romania on Tuesday. I'm sure the president will be pleased," end quote. The leak is bound to start a massive investigation, Assange had said. I don't know what Sunday this was, if this was this past Sunday. There was no dates on it. Assange said, that is if we can get the word out before the news is swallowed up by the Obama shadow government, was Assange's quote. Of course, we know how that works. So the WikiLeaks email specifically, because they showed the email, was to Huma Abedin, Barack Obama, John Podesta, Ben Affleck, Nancy Pelosi, and the email was from Hillary Rodham Clinton. The date of the email was Tuesday, June 23rd of the year 2011, sent at 3:28 p.m. So it looks completely legit, and the email is as follows. Dear Barack, when we began, the pizza arrangement, I thought we were going to be more careful than this. Operating from the White House is not what I originally had in mind. Remember that the hot dogs can come, but if you make a spectacle out of it, that will be our downfall. Please know that I am speaking as a friend. You are the president and can do as you like, but I have to say, I think it would be wiser to restrict the activity to our predetermined locations. Let me know what everyone thinks. We can vote on this if you'd like. Thanks, Hillary. I'm so disgusted by all of this. I really, truly am. For so many of us that have known about this going on for years, this has been the hardest part for me, is dealing with what's been happening to the children. And if this is old news, this Sunday of this leak wasn't a recent Sunday, wasn't this past Sunday, I'm discouraged, but I also know that so much has been happening behind the scenes. But I don't know, I just wanted to share a little bit more evidence about Hillary, who we know how evil she has been with the children, and her ties with Barack and running it all out of the White House. Moving on to other news. So I told you yesterday that I follow Kelly Brady, and some of you know her as Nancy Drew. I think she's a great resource for seeing what's actually going on in Washington, D.C., the township, so if you will. It shows us what roads are closed, what buildings are fenced, what Secret Service is present. Is there a sniper on the roof? Is there a Marine at the door? Are there flags at half-mast? Which flags are they? Things like that. And I think that those are all important details to the bigger picture going on here. But last week when she was there, she had shown us how the IRS building was completely fenced in. We got the news about the IRS agents and, for hire, the hitmen to us average Americans, and kind of figured that was related to possible unrest about that news, but we know that patriots don't do that. So I was a little skeptical that that would be the reason, because patriots don't riot. So I'm not really sure what the fencing was all about. But since Monday, this past Monday, and between Monday and yesterday, that fencing was taken down. And that was repeated, that was reported by Nancy Drew yesterday, or Kelly Brady, however you know her. So how do you find Kelly Brady? I want you all to know as much as I do. I want you to have the same resources. This is what it's all about. So Kelly Brady can be found. Hold on. Kelly Brady can be found on Facebook and Telegram. I think she's on Instagram. I don't think she's on Twitter at all, but I follow her on Facebook myself. She has 2 accounts. If you go to my account, you will see that I follow both of them. If you can't find them on your own, you can look it up from there. So anyway, I thought that was really interesting that the fencing came down around DC. So speaking of, and she was there yesterday when Biden came in on Marine One from Delaware as he returned from his very long vacation. So let's talk about the Bidens. We heard yesterday that Jill Biden tested positive for COVID rebound case, whatever they're calling it. And my question is, where is Jill? So last I knew, she was in, I thought she was in Newcastle at the Air Force Base and that she was being quarantined there. But from what I'm seeing with comparing schedules for Biden and other schedules, I think she may have gone to their Delaware residence, and not Rehoboth, not the beach house, but their Delaware residence, Wilmington, that's the town, their Wilmington residence, and is isolating there, but nobody's seen hide or hair of her. So I'm a little curious about that. Plus, there's been no mention of it by Joe, like he comes off Marine One and he does his press conference about the student loan forgiveness, which we'll get to in a moment. And then doesn't take questions. Of course, there was that question of who's going to pay for it, and he doesn't answer it. But anyway, there's no like real word on where Jill is. So if you have any idea where in the world Jill is, let me know. What else are we covering? Oh yeah, also yesterday at 1 a.m., Tuesday, 1 a.m. If you didn't hear, Marjorie Taylor Greene's was swatted. And it was, turns out it was, I take notes, I'll explain in a few minutes, but from what I understand on that one, it was a transgender activist who called in a false report of shootings. And I don't know, I don't find it coincidental that we have these transgenders who are becoming unhinged or violent. I really believe that we have a mental health illness problem in this country, across the world, but in this country, because we allowed it, we enabled it, we told them it's okay to have whatever feelings you have. Like there's no compass, there's no conscious. And when we forget to include the fact that God made us already perfect in his own image, we're giving the ownership of God's great abilities to the human man. And that's not how it works. And I feel that way, like even when you talk about CERN and what's going on there. So anyway, I do believe that the transgender movement has a deep mental illness underlying problem. And that's my personal opinion. You can agree or disagree with it. And I even have a family member who's transitioning, what have you, but I don't agree with it. I won't entertain it. That's just the way I am. Anyway, moving on to yesterday's press conference. So I was excited yesterday that Biden was coming back, only for the fact that it meant that Jean-Pierre was going to be doing press conferences again. And I find them so entertaining, infuriating and entertaining. But generally speaking, I watch the press conference with her every single day. And yesterday when I went to watch it, I went on my Twitter account because I had explained yesterday what I'm explaining now. But I went on my Twitter account and I said, okay, I'm waiting for the press conference to start, which was scheduled for 3 p.m. As I said yesterday, they never start on time. They're usually at least a half hour late. But I like watching the press conferences from a forum where I can see what other people's comments are, to see what their questions are, and to see if the press ever asks anything remotely close to what we want to know. And that gap is closing. They are getting closer and closer. Not that I think they're watching any of our threads, and I think that they could benefit greatly from watching our threads, but I think they're done playing the Biden administration's games for the most part and are asking tougher questions. So anyway, I go to the White House official YouTube page when the meeting is about to start. And when you pull it up, it will say, we will begin shortly, or it will have live feed with no sound of just the backs of the heads of the reporters as we're waiting. And then when it goes live, I switch over to Facebook. And on Facebook, I go to Breitbart. And this way on Breitbart, I can do that commenting that I was talking about, and we can have better conversations. So let me just look here to see when Biden's, or when the press conference is today. Hold, please. Alrighty, Thursday, August 25th. Okay, so the press conference is scheduled for 12:45 p.m. I am going to be out during the day today. We've got back to school shopping to do. So that one I won't be able to watch live. So please don't look for me on Facebook or Twitter to announce that we're watching that live. What I will be doing then is I go back and I watch it later on in the day, and I will include my comments tomorrow in tomorrow's video here. And I don't want this to be a video. I need more of you to come join me for this conversation. Conversation takes more than me. I'm happy to share what I know with you, but I want to know what you know as well. Okay, so let's talk about yesterday's press conference, as I was saying. Of course, the major topic is the student loan forgiveness that Biden announced yesterday. And I have to look this up. I want to know why Rice is the one who's making all of these announcements. What is her connection with the Department of Education? And she's referred to as Ambassador Rice. Do you know? So I'm just searching. I use DuckDuckGo for my searches. And I'm looking up Ambassador Rice on DuckDuckGo. What the heck? Okay, so, oh no, sorry, that's old. Okay, so here's my answer. Come on. Rice, the former, this is on Yahoo. I don't know if they'll let you see that. Sorry, I won't have this thing up tomorrow. Rice, this is on Yahoo News. And it is dated December 10th, 2020. And the title is Biden appoints Susan Rice as Director of White House Domestic Policy Council. Sorry, it looks like I'm getting a delivery. National Security. White House Domestic Policy Council. All right, so what's White House Domestic Policy Council? Let's write this down. Good morning. Thank you. Have a good day now. White House Policy Council. Okay, so again, I went to DuckDuckGo and I just typed in White House Domestic Policy Council because I want to see what their job is. And according to the whitehouse.gov, the Domestic Policy Council, the DPC, drives the development and implementation of the president's domestic policy agenda in the White House and across the federal government, ensuring that domestic policy decisions and programs are consistent with the president's stated goals and are carried out for the American people. President Biden has directed Ambassador Susan Rice, Assistant to the President for Domestic Policy, to lead Domestic Policy Council system that brings greater dignity, equity, opportunity, and prosperity to the everyday lives of Americans. Staffed by policy experts on a range of issues, the DPC will craft and implement policies on everything from education to health and immigration, along with cross-cutting issues that tackle the profound, multifaceted challenges and the opportunities before us. You can read the 1993 executive order that established the DPC here, because that was my next question. That's good that that's there. Yeah, that kind of really confirms to me that Susan Rice is running the shadow government. Okay, so I clicked on the 1993 establishment of the Domestic Policy Council. Okay. The council shall comprise the president, vice president, Secretary of Health and Human Services, the Attorney General, Secretary of Labor, Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Secretary of the Interior, Secretary of Education, Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of Transportation, and Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Energy and Secretary of Treasury, Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, Chair of the Council of Economic Advisors, Director of the Office Management and Budget, Assistant to the President for Economic Policy, Assistant to the President for Domestic Policy, Assistant to the President and Director of the Office of National Service, Senior Advisor to the President for Policy Development, Director, Office of National Drug Council Policy, AIDS Policy Coordinator, and such other officials of executive departments and agencies as the president may from time to time designate. Holy moly. I'm kind of blown away by this. Oh, see shades coming my way. So again, this is whitehouse.gov. And what makes up the membership is listed A through X. No Y and Z, but X leaves everything so open that you could end with Y and Z and go back to A again. Oh, sorry. That is nutty. This basically tells us how the shadow government would work. And that this is how they're having Biden just propped up there. That's really interesting. I'm gonna have to save that and share that with you all, so you have it in written form, sorry. So that answers the question of why Bryce was making the announcement. I'm sorry, I'm blown away by that. Okay, so let's talk about the nuts and bolts of that. They're using the HEROES Act from 9/11 to get this done. And if you've seen the video with Nancy Pelosi, you know that the president, and it's an older video, but it applies, it's true. She's smart. As much as I don't like her, she's smart. And the truth of the matter is that the president cannot, without a congressional agreement, he can't forgive these student loans. So what he's using the HEROES Act, which was from 9/11. It does not apply to this. The emergency situation that was created for is not the emergency situation and doesn't meet the criteria of the emergency situation that we don't even have. Good Lord. Anyway, so my thought on that is multifaceted. And I don't think that we really need to worry about it in the long run, because either A, it's going to become known that the HEROES Act does not apply, B, that the president has no power to do this, and C, November is coming. And even if nothing happens November, by January, I really think it'll be gone. So what's the criteria for this? And the criteria is you have to know that this forgiveness exists. Then you have to go to a specific Department of Education website that was designed for this for you to apply. You have to know if you fall within the qualification terms for it, and then you have to see if you get approved. So all of those things are going to detract from the end numbers. I really don't think that we have much to worry about. Again, I don't think it's going to stay in play. And I think that it's going to be so slow going to start that it's not going to have much of an impact on us in the long run, because the website's already crashing. Again, people have to know where to go. I don't see this as working. So I'm not really stressed out over it, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be speaking up against it. Because if we don't speak up, these are the ways that they try to make you think that they have the power when they don't. So keep fighting the good fight on this, but don't stress yourself too much over it, is my opinion. Okay, also during the press conference yesterday, there was mention, this part was mumbled, and so I had to do some research to see what they were talking about, but there was something about monuments, a lawsuit about returning monuments or something like that. The question had to do with, so what I looked up was that during the Trump administration, he reduced the size of the land that I think 2 monuments are on, and I believe that they're in Utah, maybe another state, but I think the Utah was the one state that I do remember. And Trump had reduced the area of the land that these monuments are on, and I believe that they're in honor of indigenous people. And so Biden's like claiming that they're healing lands, and I get all of that, and that was never in question. Had the reverence that should be had on these lands and the honor that should remain with those lands. But Trump had reduced them by 85% during his administration because there was no funding for them, no reason for them. Like, it was too much for upkeep and profitability and for like the bigger picture, so to speak. You can look into that yourselves, But so now Biden wants to return all of that land, which we would normally say is a good thing, but you got to look into the reasons why Trump reduced it. And so now Biden administration is being sued so that they can't make it large again. I know that sounds weird. Look into it, you'll see. Another thing that was brought up during the press conference yesterday was, of course, the $3 billion weapons package from the Biden administration to Ukraine, yet another one. And this is the largest one from the Biden administration yet. 3 billion. How much more are we going to go? Now, the news on this, though, is that these weapons don't exist right now. They have to be manufactured. And this is another one where I think that in the long run, it's not going to actually happen. So from my understanding was that from what JP was saying yesterday is that there is no timeline for the DoD to supply these weapons that are not yet manufactured. So $3 billion worth of weapons might really be an empty promise to Ukraine. I'm not sweating that one. I'm just going to watch it. Let's see. Also mentioned during the press conference yesterday, and they did it in a negative way, but I don't see it that way myself, and maybe you don't either, but with the elections on Tuesday, Idaho, North Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Oklahoma, as of today, it was either yesterday or today, but I think it's of today, they can no longer perform abortions in the state, and any healthcare provider who is caught doing so can have might face life in prison. So the next question that they had went back to Ambassador Rice, and the question was, will the cost of college go up because of this? And her answer was, we'll have to see. Or ask they're asking the Department of Education to monitor this, and we'll see how it goes. Of course, the college tuitions are going to go up. I mean, you probably saw the amounts, the endowments that Harvard and other Ivy League schools, giant schools have. It's ridiculous. They have billions of dollars in endowments, and there's no reason for this student loan forgiveness when they should be giving out scholarships. With this whole tuition forgiveness, the payments are suspended. Tuition payments, federal tuition payments are being suspended, continued through January 2023. But if you are applying for this $10,000 gift from the taxpayers, you must have your loan completed by June 30th of 2022. So you can't go to sign up for college for September thinking that you're going to get a $10,000 credit from us taxpayers. That's not how it's going to work. And that became one of the questions in the news conference yesterday, was that, well, then this really doesn't help anything, does it? Because you might take $10,000 off of loans already made, but it doesn't apply to future loans, and colleges are probably going to raise their tuition by $10,000 anyway. So it doesn't help the overall picture for college students. And you probably heard the statistics that 87% of Americans don't have a federal college loan, and yet 87% of Americans have to pay for the other 13% who do, if this goes as they plan. And that was about it during her conference yesterday. It was really the student loan forgiveness centric yesterday. So when I wake up, all day during the day, like when I'm done here today, I'm going to be doing my best to watch the news. Again, I have plans today, but I'm going to be doing my best to watch the news, following the social media, and I take notes all day long of important facts or bullet points that I want to bring up, things that I think that mean something now or are going to mean something in the future. And then obviously I go to bed, and then in the morning I wake up at like 4:30 in the morning, and I review social media, see what's news is I might have missed overnight if anything happened that way. Usually on the overnight you get more interesting anecdotal tidbits rather than breaking news, other than like the other day when I woke up and I saw that Marjorie Taylor Greene had been swatted. So I add those tidbits to my list of information that I want to share with you. And then the cycle continues. So one of the things that I saw this morning was that another U.S. delegation is en route to Taiwan today, and they're on a military plane. Who's included in this delegation? Why are they going? And why is there no controversy like there was when Nancy Pelosi went? I mean, we all know that we were concerned about insider trading and things like that when she went, but nobody else is concerned about this new delegation going to Taiwan. So I'm a little curious as to why this one's much quieter. Another little tidbit that I saw this morning is that if you follow Il Donaldo on Twitter, he went quiet yesterday. He tweets all the time, but he's been quiet for the last 24 hours. So if you have any thoughts on that, I'd be curious to know what you're thinking on that. This is big news. Senator John Kennedy, he won a major lawsuit against the lobbyists of the pharmaceutical companies. And basically what that's going to do, and they're really burying this story, and this is important. Nuremberg trials are going on elsewhere in the world. Like there's other countries who know that this whole vaccine, the lockdowns, these were crimes against humanity. But basically, this lawsuit that Senator Kennedy had against lobbyists, he won it. And basically this means that we're going to be able to bring the pharmaceutical companies to trial for this, even though there was EU and stuff like the emergency use and stuff like that. It looks like we're going to be able to bring them to trial. So that's going on too. Don't lose hope. Things are happening. Now, okay, so now this is coincidence. If you believe in coincidence, I don't know. Sometimes, yeah. But Julie Green Ministries, I had mentioned her yesterday. I follow her. I only found her recently. I've heard of her a long time ago, but I hadn't seen any of her videos or anything like that until recently. And I find that she has some interesting prophecies, and I am very leery about following people like this because I am concerned about false prophets. Now, I mentioned yesterday that Kim Clement, I think that he was a real deal, and he talked about the two presidents, things like that. But I like Julie Green. She gives a lot of hope, but it's not fluff. Like there's actual detail in what she's saying, and there's times when you can see it come to fruition. Like I said, I've only like following her recently, so to see the proof of fruition, I'm limited, but I have seen it, so good for her. But anyway, I bring her up because yesterday, I think it was on Twitter, and it might have been one of my followers, Paul's Corner, I think it is, who does a lot of tweeting about the mud floods and the giants and things like that. And I think it was on his post that I saw something about, let me get the right term. It was out of Saudi Arabia. And it was a video of the desert in Saudi Arabia, and it had what looked like a geyser spewing out of the middle of it. And the comments were, is this the fountain of the great deep? And I've never heard of that before. And then somebody put Genesis 7:11 up. I I really got to look into this because I was blown away by that image. It didn't look photoshopped at all. And then I did a quick search. I just searched the Fountain of the Great Deep, and there's a lot of stuff that popped up. I haven't had the chance to really look into it, but then I was watching Julie Green Ministries this morning. She puts out a video every day, and I was watching it quickly this morning, and she kept talking about her recent prophecy of watching the waters. And she was saying that we're going to know of a hot spring in the desert. And what she kept repeating, the hot spring in the desert and water, watch the waters. And water's all over the world. And she was talking about oceans as well. I'm intrigued. And if you know anything about the Fountain of the Great Deep, or this video of the hot spring or whatever it was in Saudi Arabia, or anything like concerning that, like, please let me know, comment, share, find me on social media and do it that way, or do it here on YouTube or what have you. That's really interesting to me. So Paul, you got me. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. I really hope that you start to comment more and let me know what your perspective is. Again, I don't want to be here lecturing you. I want to share ideas. So I appreciate you stopping by today, and I hope that you'll come back tomorrow. Again, we're going to be doing an evening one, and I'm thinking that that's going to be Thursday evenings, and tonight is Thursday. So I might do a spur of the moment one tonight, and it's going to be similar to this, but hopefully we'll get more people. People are telling me that the timing of 9 a.m. during the week doesn't work for everybody, and I get that. And you can go back and watch this on YouTube or what have you. But I'm really hoping to get some live conversation with all of you. So the suggestion was for me to do one in the evening. So that's the idea that I've been kicking around of starting the fire out back going, and getting a glass of wine or a beer and having this kind of conversation with you then when you might be more available. So if you think that might work, let me know, or just join when I post it up. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow or maybe tonight. Take care. God bless.